Mingo. Hello, you guys. You're so cool. Thank you for being here. Fred, I'm sorry I was a minute late. I know I should have been a minute early, but you were on time. You rock. And Nico, thank you for being here. Lovely to see you guys. It's Saturday. It is the 14th of September. Yesterday was the good luck, the lucky Friday the 13th. And yeah, my brain's starting to come back. It's been so rough, you guys. I'd say the roughest part is making videos because I'm just so freaking foggy. And then reviewing the videos is really painful, but I think it's important to review the videos. I have been watching Shan's live from last night. Hey, Fred. Yeah, I caught that. I don't know what to say. I mean, all this political crap, you know, it's so hard. It's so hard. I just want to leave it at the door. So yeah, I was also catching Ninja Chihuahua's most recent, which was fabulous as usual. And I say catching because I watched it and then I was just rewatching it right as I was about to come on live. So we love Ninja, don't we? She just rocks. And she's over there in Australia, so she stays out of the political mess too. But it is just really a mess, and I don't want to be disrespectful towards anyone, and I certainly don't want anyone to be disrespectful towards me. And I think that we live in a democracy. We have to tolerate each other's opinions, hopefully. So ideally, but anyway, let's just try to stay out of politics, please. I beg of you. I'm trying so hard. And you didn't start it, Fred. I did, because I wasn't going to even mention anything about that live, because anyway. Where's my thumb? My thumb. I know I have it here. I have things kind of rearranged. Can you tell? I've gotten a bunch of new and improved elements of my situation. So please hit your like button if you'd be so kind. And make sure you're still subscribed. Share a video of mine with someone you think might like my channel. I need the thumbs up. I need the views. I need the subs. I am like flatlining, you guys. And I'll take responsibility for my part in that, the yoga videos and all that jazz and being sick. But yeah, it's crazy. I know for a fact that I've been shadow banned. So it's really helpful to keep the subs rolling in as they unsub your people. I mean, that's just is what it is. Turn on your notification bell to ring if you want to be notified when I come on live. And what was the other thing I was looking for? I don't know how much of this stuff you guys can see here. I've got some secret things. Well, you guys have probably seen this guy for a while. That's the army dude. There's a little tiny army dude right there too. I have a little lantern thing that I just snuck in, and then I snuck in a little lady right here. These cool little cherry red cherry blossom lights. Still have my Gabby Petito pumpkin, but it's harder to see because it moved. A lot of stuff moved. So what do I really want to show you guys? I really want to show you this freaking plate. This is stained glass, you guys. This is freaking amazing. I had to incorporate this into the set when I saw it. Unbelievable. It's an exact replica of the rose at Notre Dame. An exact freaking replica. Is that crazy? Anyway, so I got my chakras all aligned. Are your guys' chakras aligned? And I don't know if you saw my little adorable mailbox. You got to check this out. I'm all into the miniature stuff. It's like the land of make-believe over here, like in Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. And then I got my little fence. There's a little lamp post back here. Yeah, you can kind of see that. There's the good old bird bath. And, of course, Miss Squirrel. We got Miss Mouse right here. We got a little bunny rabbit here and all her babies in there. Take you on the grand tour. My Chasing Unicorns is out of frame. It's over there with the bigger bunny, the white rabbit. What else do I want to draw attention to? These lights, which are super cool, but I can't have them on, I don't think, because it's too bright. Here we go. Like if it's like that, but it's that that salt stuff. It's supposed to be good for you. I don't know. Anyway, Nico says my notifications were not working even though I just activated. Oh, did you have to reactivate? Thanks so much for being here, you guys. So really, I just was coming on to say hi, happy Saturday. I hope you had a good unlucky or lucky Friday the 13th. 13 has always been my lucky number, and Friday the 13th, the way I see it is if it's unlucky for so many people, it has to be lucky for some people. And it's really lucky for me. It really is, honestly. Like whether I know that it's Friday the 13th or if I'm not really cognizant and aware of that fact, there's always the coolest stuff that happens in my life on Friday the 13th. It's undeniable. So what might that have been yesterday, you ask? Well, for one thing, I survived my allergies for one more day, and I think I'm better today. But yeah, I try not to share too much of my personal life with you guys. As much as I would love to share a lot more than I do, I think it's important to stay focused and not distract with that. And, you know, freaking trolls and stalkers and all that jazz. I think we have a lot more trolls in YouTube than we are aware of. So it's something to be to pay attention to. So I think I'm done pointing out all the new cool stuff. Do you guys like it? Let's see. I'll just get out of the way so you can see all the cool stuff, right? You don't need me here. Oh, and I got the Golden Gate Bridge back in there because I was missing it. And yeah, we still have Brando right there. I'm hiding him. Fred Field, my wife felt Friday the 13th was her lucky day. Her birthday, LOL. Is your wife not with us anymore, Fred? You say past tense, or are you still together? If you want to share, that's fine. If you don't, but yeah. So I really wanted to talk some about Micah Miller. Veronica Adams did such an amazing video. Let's see. Such an amazing video. And you guys are probably following that case, right? And where did Shay Zone go? I think she left her laptop out in the rain, and then she probably hasn't gotten a new one or gotten it fixed yet. I know I've had that type of trouble, and it takes eternity. But I miss the channel, and I've tried to send an email and message her and let her know that I'm a new sub and that I really like her stuff. So, let's see, what was I looking for? Oh, and in my last video, I didn't get to the part about Raygun. Oh my goodness. Like she just keeps doubling down on her thievery and cheating to get herself to the Olympics. She is the worst as far as I'm concerned. So here's Veronica Adams, and her most recent, I think, she has been busting her behind. Her channel is Veronica A. Jokestar. I already have it linked in the description. But she went over the medical records that have recently been released, and also Agatha. I also linked Agatha's video that does the same thing. So they both go over this medical record that is allegedly Micah's, but no, I don't think it is. I don't think Micah has erectile dysfunction. I'm surprised that JP does because, you know, he seems to have a hyperactive functioning thing. Sorry, trigger warning, trigger warning. Let's see. She passed in 2001 at 48, cancer. Oh, Fred, I am so sorry. Freaking cancer. You know, our puppy dog Coco is battling cancer right now. Not that there's any parallel between your spouse and a pet, but the cancer, man, it's just so evil. It's so evil. So yeah, that was 23 years ago. 48. Do you guys have kids? Do you mind if I ask? So the thing with this medical records release is I don't think it's and I'll keep reading your comments. I don't think that it's Micah's medical record. I think it's JP who is the effery, constantly trying to gaslight. So I guess there's this YouTube channel called Syri or something like that. I don't know. I've heard people talk about it. I don't think I've watched any of their stuff, but it might be JP Diddy's channel. If it's not his channel, it's certainly a channel that's batting for him. You know, one of his henchmen, so to speak. But I think they released the Micah Miller, quote unquote, Micah Miller medical record. And I don't want to like repeat the things that Veronica says. I want to highlight them though, because they're really good. And let's see. And she does a great job reading through the psychiatric medical assessment. I mean, it's very challenging for anybody to read that stuff, especially when you're not familiar with the lingo and the terminology and all that jazz. And, you know, I think she did a phenomenal job just biting the bullet and taking a stab at it and looking things up as she went. Fred says, one adopted boy, 43 years old, was sworn in as lieutenant at his fire department last Thursday. Oh, that is awesome, Fred. Fire department in the Chicago area. Yeah, amazing. Congratulations. I'm sure you're very proud. And how lovely that you have a son. I mean, adopted is not really material. Except when it comes to like medical records, right? Like what we're talking about here with Micah. So I really think if you're interested in the Micah Miller case, that this last Veronica Adams video is one of the best ones. And I almost was going to like print stuff out to read, but I had such a terrible time with that the last couple of videos that I thought I'd give you guys a break and not do that again. A western suburb. Yeah, I'm pretty well familiar with the Chicago area. Being in Ohio, you know, I've been to Chicago many times. I love Chicago. The most recent time, of course, was when my oldest son graduated from the Naval Academy last summer. And that, as you know, is in Lake Forest, which is north of the city, and absolutely like my very most favorite area of the entire Chicago area. But I like all of Chicago. It's just got a lot of culture. I mean, it can be a rough town. It's definitely industrialized, but there's a lot of art and just a lot of cool stuff, a lot of cool people. We took him home at 3 days old. Oh my goodness. That is amazing. That's phenomenal. That's huge. A fresh baby. I'm sure you felt like you guys won the lottery, huh? So let's see if I can put this video on double speed. Because I'm watching it without any my goodness. I'm watching it without any volume. as I'm trying to uh, help decipher some of these medical terms and such. So let me just put that down and just talk off the top of my head. I think that'll be best. One of the many fine points that Veronica brings up is in this psychiatric evaluation, the person who wrote it said something like that they're instructing Micah to listen to her husband more often or something like that, which is completely insane. I mean, as you guys know, I've worked in the mental health field since like 1996 in a variety of capacities. But there was a time when I worked at a community mental health facility there in Bremerton, Washington, and a psychiatrist put a note in a file of a mutual client of ours that was even more direct than that. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about what it is, because as long as I don't reveal anybody's identity, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. So this was a patient who had, she was very complex. She had multiple issues. She was a survivor, a lot of abuse in her past. Her spouse was a registered offender, SO, and she had little kids with him that lived with her. And she lived in a mobile home on her in-laws' property. And he was living with his parents. So he was living next door to her when, because of his status, he's not allowed to have contact with the kids. She's not allowed to allow him to have access to the kids. And it was a violation of his parole, and it was a violation of her involvement with Child Protective Services. And it's just a bad idea, right? I mean, it's the law, but it's just dangerous for the children. But she was considering divorcing this husband because he was also abusive towards her, but she was not sure how to handle it, being that she was dependent on his family for her shelter. So the psychiatrist wrote something in the medical record to the effect of, I advised her to stay with her husband because that's her main source of support. And I was just completely floored. This was a terrible psychiatrist already for other reasons. Like, he was a hack. And when I saw that, I was just blown away. And I immediately let the authorities know. I immediately let the CEO of the mental health agency know, because I didn't want it to come back on the mental health agency. It's bad enough that a professional would give their unsolicited opinion about that to a client. The fact that he documented it was crazy. The fact that he was documenting giving her advice that was illegal. So it was unethical, unprofessional, dangerous, counterindicative to her wellness, and mind-blowing. So the notes that Veronica Adams is reading in her last video remind me of that, because allegedly it's written that the mental health provider is writing that they advised Micah to listen to her husband more often. So it's possible that some douchebag mental health professional, I'd say mental illness professional or unprofessional, but it's highly unlikely. And my guess is that JP probably forged the document, but I don't know. I mean, why is he going to leave the thing about the ED in there? The other thing it says in the document is that she's 20 years old, which she was 28 at the time. It would make sense that they, A, could have made a mistake, B, that JP could have misrepresented her age, because it's way more likely for a patient to have a bipolar break at 20 than it is at 28. So early 20s are usually where you see bipolar show up, and it's uncommon to have the late onset of a bipolar disorder. So it's just a freaking mess. But let me see if I can share some of this with you guys. Like I said, I don't know if I should even dare to do that. We took him home at 3 days old. Oh, I thought I saw another comment come in, but no. Let's see. Are you guys willing to tolerate me trying to read something? I've had such a terrible track record with you lately. So this is from, and I wanted to clarify too, that people are always saying in this case that Micah Miller was 14 years younger than JP. And in the last video, I pointed out that she's 14 years and 10 months younger, you guys. So really 15 years. Really 15 years. And she was actually 14. I love the fuzzy math. She was 14 when they met. So he would have been 29. And yeah, it just makes it even worse. But her date of birth is what? March 7th, 94. And then his date of birth is 2 months later, May something. I don't have it in front of me. I have my notebooks, but you know how that goes right now is not good. Me and my notebooks. I've got 2 of them. I'm trying to just have the one. Okay, JP's birthday is May of 1979. So, yeah, that's huge to me. It's also huge that it's a 15-year, 2 months shy of a 15-year age difference, and that it's constantly being sold to the public that it's a 14-year age difference. That's ridiculous. It's absolutely ludicrous. So she was 30 when she passed away, and he was 10 days approximately from turning 45 when she passed away. So she had her birthday the beginning of March. She passed away late April, and then he turned 45 early May. So, Christine, hello. How are you? So, Fred, does your son, is he married? Does he have any kids of his own? Are you a grandparent yet? How are you doing, Christine? Nice to see you. So I'm still really slow. I've gotten through all of my antibiotics and my prednisone, my steroid, which today was the last day of it. However, the ragweed is still rampant. So I'm still needing to take the allergy medicine, and I'm still affected by the allergies. So it's been a rough go of it, but I'm here just to come on and say hello to you guys, because I miss you so much when I don't get to. And I wanted to touch base about the Micah Miller case primarily. Maybe a little bit about Sandra Birchmore too. And, I mentioned Ninja Chihuahua's amazing last video with the Kylie Rodney case. So, yeah, I think it's really important to stay focused on trying to find justice for these females that have had their lives stolen from them I'm good working hard at physical therapy. Oh, awesome. Good for you, Christine. You had your surgery? Have you? Are you post surgery? I forget. I know it was pushed back, and it was supposed to be probably right about now. Um, but yeah, that's amazing. So what was I trying to look up? I got to stop with my phone. I can't fub you guys. Oh, congratulations, Christine. That's fabulous. That I know that's so scary when you're trying to prepare to go under the knife, and then all of the lack of food and fluids in what is it for 12 hours or so before you have your surgery. That's so painful just to be on such restriction. And it's always scary going under the knife, no matter what. But I'm really glad that you're on the other side of it. Way, way cool. So, allegedly, Micah was trying to get pregnant back then during that hospitalization that the medical records have been released for. So, I just think that's so sad that she was wanting kids and that JP already had 5 and she was the stepmom basically to all 5, even though she was only 2 years older than his son, his oldest son that he fathered when he was 16. And I think the mother was in 9th grade, which would probably make her more like 14 or 15. But anyway, Micah, she'd babysat his kids. And then when she married him, she's definitely the stepmom, but she wanted her own kids. And JP really used that to manipulate her. And thank goodness she didn't have kids with him. I mean, it's already so tragic. I mean, we haven't really talked about what this is like for his children that he had with Allison. Those 4 kids that have known Micah since like virtually their whole lives, like since she came into their lives, probably when she was around 14, 15 years old. And then eventually became their stepmother and, was kind of like the safety gate in them having time with their father. Allison only felt comfortable, I think, if Micah was around because JP was so erratic and unpredictable and crazy. I try not to use the C word. So Fred says, never married, lived with baby mama 15 years, granddaughter 10, and grandson 15. Well, that's all that matters is the grandkids, right? Cashing in right there. That's a pretty good return on one child to have 2 grandkids. I know people with like 5 and 6 kids who struggle to have grandkids. Come here, Mookie. Come here, baby. And Micah grew up with 3 kids also, or with the kids also. Yeah. And then I think Micah has, I want to say she has like 7 siblings. She comes from a very large blended family. So she might be the only biological child of her biological mother and biological father. There might be 1 or 2 of her siblings that have the same mom and dad. But, JP really used that against her too, especially because I think her mother might have been married 5 times. So, my guess is if JP doesn't go to prison, or even if he does, he'll probably have about that many marriages before his days are done. Granddaughter 19, not 10. Oh, I know that 0 and 9 are right next to each other. All right, cool. So, so you said 15 and 19. Wait, no, granddaughter is 19, not 10. Well, it says 19. So I don't know if you changed it. Anyway, congratulations on being a granddad. That's awesome. That's totally awesome. Are they near you? They're in the area? That's really nice when they are. So, hopping over to the Sandra Birchmore case for a minute, you guys. I have been doing more and more research on Sandra and her backstory, and she graduated in 2015. She became an explorer with that Stoughton Police Department in 2010. She was 12 or 13. The perpetrator that had the long-standing affair with her and has been arrested for her homicide, Matt Farwell, he didn't start with the police department until 2012. So he wasn't there for the first 2 years that she was there. But the suicide ruling, I don't think it's been reversed. It has been challenged, and I think there's an intent to reverse it. I don't think it's actually been reversed. And if they can put a stop to it being reversed, then Farwell is off the hook for that. So hopefully that won't happen. But I would imagine that that would be his lawyer's strategy and his strategy. I don't know about the police department. I mean, the police department is going to want to protect themselves, of course, but I think that they're well aware of the fact that he, at the very least, did the statutory assaults because right after her passing away, that was February of 2021, I think... I want to say it was pretty quick, like maybe a month, that him and the other two, his identical twin and the police chief, that they were all put on a paid administrative leave. And then they resigned a year later, I think. But I mean, they were pretty much in hot water right away. But there were 32,709 text messages between Sandra Birchmore and Matt Farwell just in the 13 months before she passed away. Just in 13 months, they had 32,709 text messages from December of 2019 until February 1st of 2021. So I wonder if he tried to like send her messages too, and you know, some of those ghost messages, like, how come you're not answering any of my texts? I bet he did. That would be really creepy AF, but I bet he did. So she had been pregnant before, you guys. She had been pregnant in 2017 or 2018, and I haven't been able to locate the information on what happened with that pregnancy, if it was a miscarriage or if it was a therapeutic termination. But she had been pregnant by him before. So, and then when her mother and grandmother passed away, that was in 2016. So that was a year or two before the first time she was pregnant. They passed away 1 month apart, you guys. 1 month apart. So that was the year after she graduated high school. Yeah, I think that's all the notes that I have about that I wanted to make sure to share. And I have one other notebook just to be on the safe side here. And like I said, I'm trying to consolidate my notebooks. I got to show you guys. I'd like to have a little tiny notebook like this in my purse at all times, so I can jot down ideas. But then that gets really confusing when I've got my big notebook, my little notebook, and you know, I guess I could type up all my notes before I start, but you guys have said you like it when I shoot from the hip, and I like to shoot from the hip. I mean, I do so much prep already that, I mean, you can just prep forever and never be ready for a video because it's never going to be perfect. So, I just try to do as much as I can and then just come on live and talk with you guys. Let's see. You said 10. Oh, sorry. It's my glare. So thank you. You said 10. The boy still lives with mom nearby. Girl 20, 25 miles away. We all participated in my son's ceremony. So freaking cool. And then with 9/11 just passing too, Fred, how did that tie in for him? Because you said, let's see. Put on the live chat instead of that other one. Okay. So he was sworn as a lieutenant at his fire department last Thursday. So do you mean like the 12th of September, like the day after September 11th? That's what I was looking for, Fred. I hadn't even thought about that. So yeah, my husband is a firefighter too, as well as he's law enforcement and also an EMT. But we've done the 9/11 stair climb every year for I don't know how many years, ever since it started in this area. Probably like 9 years ago. And it's usually the whole family that does it. And this year was the first year that we didn't do it. So we're just busy with life. And it just kind of snuck up on us. And it was like, wait, what? But yeah, we really like to support the 9/11 stair climb movement. Raises funds for the families that lost their loved ones, and that just they still need the money. I mean, it's insane. Even that comedian Pete Davidson, his father was one of the New York firefighters that lost his life on 9/11, which honestly can explain why Pete Davidson is the way he is. I mean, he's got a ton of issues. I think he was 7 on the day that happened, and I think he's an only child, so it's just him and his mom. Oh, goodness. Yeah, sorry for my bleary eyes, Fred Field. And that's nice that they're so close. Christine says, never seen Nico Mingo name before. Am I behind the times? I don't know what you mean, Christine. Behind the times with... So, so when too much of a good thing becomes not a good thing, you could say that anything, like something that can be therapeutic and useful, like medicine, can become poisonous if it's overused or abused. I just think it's really interesting to think about something like medicine. Your own medicine can be your own poison. And some people use that to self-delete. And other times, a non-self-deletion is staged to try to look like a self-deletion. And medication is one of the ways that can be done, and especially with a syringe, which is what I want to get into with Kylie Rodney. So, obviously you're not going to really, well, I guess you can make somebody take some pills if you like held a gun to their head or something. I mean, a pew. But the thing with Kylie Rodney that gets overlooked a lot, and we all have talked about it on occasion, in her autopsy with the one shoe on, one shoe off. And it's not just the shoe, it's also the sock. It's one shoe and sock on, one shoe and sock off. And then the one that is off has the sock rolled up, tucked inside the shoe. It's very, very peculiar and suspicious, in my opinion. But I think a lot of us, our first thought when we read that in the coroner's report, in the autopsy, our first thought was, did somebody shoot her up between the toes? So my last video, I focused on, with Kylie's case, the clip that Jägermeister filmed and put on his Instagram page, going up out in nature at a 4,000-foot lookout point, and he's like right there on the edge. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, he looks like he's gonna fall right down the edge of that mountain. But as he's getting to that point, he walks by this giant crevice that looks like it's maybe 10 or 15 feet deep of a hole. And then I mentioned the comment from somebody with a handle of Amber saying, "Show me them holes someday." And I'm just horrified, you guys. He posted that on the 2-year anniversary of the day that her vehicle was located, on August 21st. So just 3 weeks ago, a little bit over 3 weeks ago. And that comment, to me, there were some thoughtful comments on my video, and it was one of those commenters that really got me thinking more specifically about that comment that Amber made. It could be that she is 100% aware of crimes that were committed against Kylie, that she's referring to, that she's mocking, that she's laughing about, and that she's admitting to on social media. I mean, that's reading into it, and she can argue that it meant this, that, or the other thing. It didn't mean anything at all. But I mean, to me, it's pretty profound. And what's even more profound is just there was no response to it. I mean, maybe Jaeger responded to it later, but it just seems so freaking heartless and cold. And we all know that that was kind of the pervasive attitude from all of her friends and family, is that, it was water under the bridge. There was nothing we could do to help her. There was only things that we could do to help protect the other teens in Truckee, the teens with the guilty knowledge, according to MC Ultra, the teens that know what happened. And MC Ultra says, again, this is Ninja's last video, that there might be 300 kids in Truckee that were at the party, and there's no way that they could all be guilty or have guilty knowledge or be prosecuted. And I beg to differ. They could all have guilty knowledge, and they could theoretically all be prosecuted. If you are familiar with that, oh, dang it, is it Adam Markovich, that kid that they made that movie Alpha Dog about? Nico, you probably know. I wrote his name down just a couple of days ago. No, Benjamin. It was the two brothers. I'll have to look it up. Let's see. Alpha Dog. They had 261 kids testify in the trial, I think, as witnesses, because Jesse James Hollywood had kidnapped this kid. Let's see, Alpha Dog. Have you guys seen that movie? It's Justin Timberlake, who just pled guilty to his drunk driving charge, took full responsibility. Very, very good for him. Good on him. Um, let's see. True story. Yeah, Nick Markowitz. And what was Nick's brother's name? So it was the kidnapping in Red Rum of Nick Markowitz. You might remember hearing about this when it happened in real life, in real time. July 8th of 2009 was when Jesse James Hollywood finally got convicted. But Nick was, I want to say 15. And I think Jesse James was 20 when it happened. But what was Nick Markovich's brother's name? Let's see. It might not say. The Red Rum happened in 2000. So August 9th of 2000. And then it took 9 years to prosecute Jesse James. And it was his brother that was in trouble with the dealers. Okay, so his half brother, Benjamin Markowitz, owed Jesse James Hollywood money. And then Nick Markowitz was abducted by Jesse James's thugs. And then there was like a nationwide manhunt. That's what I was saying. You guys might remember in real time when that happened. I think they held him captive for 3 days and they took him to a bunch of parties. That's the 261 people that testified in his trial. So they went to all these parties. I don't know if they crossed state lines. I don't think they did, because then that would have made it an even bigger deal. So wait, when was the legal proceedings? Okay, so one guy got the death sentence, and that was in 2001 that he was charged. Jesse James Hollywood. It wasn't until 2009 that he was convicted of kidnapping and first-degree Red Rum, sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. In 2003, the Markowitz family won an $11.2 million civil suit against the kidnappers and the Red Rummers. So the reason why I bring this case up, and I've brought it up a lot over the last 2 years in relationship to Kylie Rodney's case, is because it could be a lot more like what happened here than any of us have any knowledge of. I mean, we've all questioned if maybe there was an outstanding debt, if Kylie was being held. Remember, on those FBI files, it was suspected abduction, no ransom. So it only took them a year to convict and sentence one of the unalivers. And then it took another year to charge the other one. And he was released. He's out in the general population, you guys. Jesse Taylor Rugg, and that's his last name, Rugge. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but that's funny. And then, yeah, Skidmore, this guy was charged, and then he was released in April of 2009. So how many people were put in jail for it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then this guy, Presley, he was acquitted of the abduction and then a hung jury on the Red Rum charge. He was retried. and convicted of second-degree Red Rum. He was incarcerated at the California Youth Authority facility because he was 17 when it happened until shortly before his 25th birthday in 2007. He has since been released. So it looks like 1, 2, 3. 3 of the 5 unalivers are back in our general population. And then Ryan Hoyt, who was given the death sentence, he's probably still on death row. And then Jesse James Hollywood, I'm going to guess, okay, he got life in prison without the possibility of parole. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But again, the Markowitz family fought for their kid. They know it's not going to bring them back, but, you know, justice is kind of the bare minimum in a situation like that. Let's see, where are we? And you have a wrench. I'm jealous. I just noticed. What was the comment about the Khole? Thank you, Nico. Thank you for keeping me focused. I made a comment in my comment section, or no, on my title. I changed the title and made Khole. So a Khole, I guess, it was Shan, I think, that educated me on this. Hey, Shan. A Khole is like a concoction, I think, with ketamine and Coca-Cola. You know, not Coca-Cola, but the other stuff that I call Coca-Cola. I think that's what a Khole is. So I know in one of Shan's lives a while back, there was speculation that maybe she fell into a hole was more like, metaphorically speaking, that there was this Khole involved. But there's all of that information that MC Ultra has put into the story about Daisy getting horse tranquilizer in her mouth, right? So it makes you wonder if there wasn't a tranquilizer like that used with Kylie Rodney, maybe put into her drink. And the other thing is, if you put substances in somebody's drink, like River Phoenix, he had drank something and then passed away pretty much instantaneously at the Viper Room back on the day that he expired. And it's always been a question of if he drank H, you know, the substance that starts with H, because that would kill you instantly. And it could be that there was something put into her drink. I mean, I don't know. 300 kids in Truckee for reals, right? Right, Nico, good point. Very, very good point. Yes, Alpha Dog was a very sad movie based on facts. Yeah, so sad. Justin Timberlake did an amazing job. Emile Hirsch was in that movie too. It was a great cast and crew. Very well done, very well researched. Better late than never. I'll definitely be on Rewind and Replay crew. Stepbrother or half, not full brother. Thank you, Nico. You know so much more about the case than I do. I've seen the movie and I've wanted to watch it a second time, but I don't know if I have the stomach for it. It was really, really hard to watch. I think I was crying at the end. They make him dig his own grave. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. Nico says, rug debt was cause of everything in Alpha Dog. Well, in every crime committed, you can follow the money and that'll lead you to the truth in the end, right? It's crazy. I don't think anyone gave her shots between the toes, but worth a thought about. Yeah, same, Christine. I've never committed to that idea, but I've always had an open-ended question with that idea. I think there were 100 witnesses in Alpha Dog or with Kylie. I think there were over 100 witnesses. In Alpha Dog, for some reason, 261 stands out in my mind, or maybe 162. But I could be off base. I don't know if Google would tell us if we tried to look it up how many witnesses there were. But they took him to 3 different parties, over 100 in Alpha Dog. How would any of us know in Kylie's case? Right. Because most of us doubt that there was a party that big. Although in a town like that, with all the kids talking, most, if not all, probably know what happened. And it was Divine Justice, aka Mrs. G, the honey badger, who has said that the people in Truckee were very welcoming to her when she was there, and to her that indicated that they thought that Kylie did need justice, and that they were glad that these outsiders were coming in, scoping it out. Presumptuous. That's a good word, Nico. It's a very good word. Presumptuous. So it's so nice to see you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Hit that like button if you'd be so kind. We're just getting close to an hour, and I should probably wrap up just because I wasn't even planning to go this long. But I really appreciate you guys being here, supporting the channel. And but before we wrap up, I want to talk about the Cards Against Humanity again, you guys. Remember at the beginning of the Kylie Rodney case, the card, and I didn't do my disclaimer. I'll do that in a second. The Cards Against Humanity were talked about a lot by Scammy and by the other kids. There was allegedly the Cards Against Humanity were at the bottom of the lake with Kylie's stuff. But then they quit talking about the Cards Against Humanity, kind of similar to the, the Lord of the Flies statement, and then no peep about that ever again. But those Cards Against Humanity are very violent, and like what they are called in their title, Crimes Against Humanity, essays as well as Red Rums. So I've never played the game, but you can look it up online, and my kids have played it, so they've told me about it. So many conjectures, so many lies. Who knows? Yeah. But yeah, I think it's important to ask again about the Cards Against Humanity, because it was like they thought it was cute that they were putting that information in there. And just like with the comment on Jägermeistro's social media post, oftentimes these days, these thugs think it's really cool to fly close to the sun, so to speak, and put this information on social media, like almost revealing something, but not really. And then they can say, oh, that's just social media. That doesn't mean anything, right? So everything I say is simply my opinion for the sake of starting a conversation, hoping to open up a discussion and learn something. Be educational. All my videos are made for YouTube. It's an entertainment platform. And I'm just going to do a quick sign off, you guys. Peace out. Love and light. Have a really good weekend. I'm hoping so desperately to be looking at this whole sinus infection, ear infection thing in the rearview mirror. Hopefully I'm done with it. Hopefully I'm out of the woods, and hopefully I'll be getting back on my regular game, because I miss it. But, I always try to make the most of everything. So I've been cleaning the house more and organizing more and all that jazz, getting rid of clutter, except here I get rid of clutter so that I can reclutter it more cool with new clutter like this. So, all right. Peace out, and have a really good afternoon. I hope that you can get some rest and relaxation. Take care of yourself, stay hydrated, well nourished, get some exercise, and just love and light. Thanks again, you guys. You're the best. Take care.